Is there anything else you could offer on like releasing emotional charges, releasing the feeling state, knowing you just provided so much?
Well, here's what we wish to say about releasing emotional charges. And we know we are repeating ourselves, but we just wish to be clear if there's anyone new joining the conversation for the first time. So the emotional charges you carry are related to the false mental perspectives that you have taken on from the experiences of your past. When something happens in your past and you don't really have the awareness to question your thoughts about it, you automatically take on false narratives usually about yourself or about life. And then there is an emotional charge that accompanies that thought form. Now, these thought forms aren't reflective of the truth. They are just reflective of the conclusion that your human mental construct came to at the time of the event. So if they're not reflective of the truth, then the emotional charge that accompanies that mental perspective is one that feels very uncomfortable in your body. And that is how you know that it's not really in alignment with truth. However, because the reality is that most of humanity is not aware of this information, what happens is when an uncomfortable emotion is trying to come to the surface to be released, instead of letting it be released, they try to shove it down and suppress it. And one of the most common ways they do that is through distraction. So they fill their lives with distractions so rather than their attention being focused on the energy that's trying to be released, the emotion that's trying to be released, they instead are distracted by something in the external world, and that keeps the emotion suppressed. It's a very effective way of keeping the emotion suppressed. If you keep the emotion suppressed, though, what also is suppressed are those mental constructs, those false beliefs and false narratives that are in your mental body. And your life is, you could say that your life is running. We have used the analogy before of like a computer. That's the software that your life is running on. So you're wondering why certain things are happening in your life and life is not working out the way you want it to. Well, the programs that you are running in your consciousness are aligned with falsehood. They aren't aligned with truth, right? So the reason we were speaking before about the need to take an intermission and to remove yourself from these distractions is because when you do so, you allow the space. When you remove the distraction, then your emotional body finally has the space to bring the emotion to the surface and feel it and let it go. That's how an emotional energy is released, simply by feeling the sensation of it without any narration. You just feel shame. Well, right now I'm feeling shame. How does that feel in my body? Well, it feels black. It feels like my throat is constricting. It feels like my muscles are tense. It's a sensation. It's a somatic sensation. If you allow yourself to feel the sensation without buying into the mental construct or without repeating that mental construct, the energy will be released, and now you have a clear space to examine the mental construct, the false belief, the narrative. And now, because there is no energetic emotional charge associated with that mental belief or false belief or narrative, now it almost becomes humorous sometimes. It's clear that it's untrue. It's almost funny. It's clear that, yes, that's been running in my consciousness, but it's not the truth of who I am. And so that's the process. And so again, the need to remove yourself from all distraction is often required. And we do suggest that you do that on a daily basis in meditation. But we also see that in your daily life, you can meditate as Karen does every morning, but still as you go about your day, you're still interacting with other people and their opinions, which many of you are very attached to, and you're still receiving input from the media, and you're still doing your errands and doing all the things that you need to do. There's still a lot of input there. And all of that input is yet another way that your emotional energy is suppressed. Because when there's constantly information and energy coming in, there's not enough space for something to be released. So that is why we suggest that you remove yourself. Take some time where you remove yourself from all of the input so that your emotional body can receive the space that it needs to release what it's trying to release. We'll leave you with this reminder that your emotional body is self-healing. So just as your physical body gets a cut and heals it, your emotional body is constantly trying to relieve you of these emotional charges that are not aligned with the truth of your being. That's a constant process that your emotional body is trying to do. And if you give it the space to do so, it will do so automatically, and you will heal automatically without that need for a lot of action. You don't need more action to heal, you need more space.